album is gonna change my life. Hey, what's up? My name is Dano. Welcome back. I'm a songwriter from Asbury Park, New Jersey, and I am so freaking excited to listen to the 1975's brand spanking new album, Being Funny in a Foreign Language. I am a huge 1975 fan. I am just obsessed with Maddie's vocals, his lyrics, the topics that he chooses to write about, the guitar parts and the arrangement. Literally everything that they do is just amazing, so I know I'm gonna be wowed by this album. But for those of you that are new here, welcome. So glad that you're joining us. The whole reason that I started doing this channel in the first place is because I feel that the best way that I learn as a songwriter is to study the artists who inspire me and really listen critically to their music and their songs and really figure out what it is that makes that song so amazing, and then we can steal some of those ideas and apply them to our own music and our own writing, and grow and become better songwriters. So that's exactly what we're gonna do here. We're not gonna listen to the full songs. I'm gonna kind of speed through and stop anytime that there's something that I think is noteworthy that I wanted to call out or mention, something that we can analyze, dig deep a little further, or just something that I think is really cool that might be fun to put in our own songs. One more thing before we get started, Jack Antonoff is one of the producers on this album, and I'm a huge Jack Antonoff fan. Everything that he's produced I think is amazing. Some of my favorite albums are things that he produced, so this is gonna be so good, so good. Okay, let's dive in. The very first song on this album is actually self-titled. The first song is called the 1975. So I just want to pause. I'm obsessed with this introduction. We've got this kind of like chaotic piano sound going on, and it's really repetitive, and it definitely seems a little chaotic to me. I love it already. Just a really cool intro idea, not only just to introduce the song, but also as a way to introduce the album. So really cool contrast there between sections. I always struggle with finding ways to have like contrast in between the sections on my own song. So I love to look at ideas of what other artists are doing. And it's interesting because this track so far, there's not like a lot of stuff going on. It sounds chaotic because like the pianos are all over the place, but there's really not that much going on. But still, they pulled back the instruments that were there in that chorus as we get ready to verse 2. Taking out some instruments, dropping them out is just a really great way to have some variation in between sections. So I have to remember that next time I'm stuck in trying to have some contrast between the sections in my own song. Also, I love that little orchestra part right there. It kind of reminds me when you're like sitting at like, if you've ever gone to a theater or show and all the people are just kind of like playing around, warming up, like before the conductor taps the little, thing on the stand to quiet everyone down. I love it. It kind of also adds to this chaos feel, but it also feels a little bit cinematic. Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna be able to make it through this album without some tears, I think. I love the lyrics here, and I love the message that the 1975 is trying to say. There's a lot of stuff going on in our world right now, obviously, and it's very frustrating, and it weighs on you a lot, especially as an artist. And sometimes when I'm writing songs, I just wanna like pretend it doesn't exist and just write like happy love songs or like fun dance party songs or whatnot. And I feel like this struggle because it's like, how do I ignore all these issues and all these things that need a platform when I can create one to kind of do that and say something meaningful? And I think that the 1975 does that really well because sure, maybe we don't need every single artist to comment on what's going on in our world, but you really can't ignore it. And when I see artists like the 1975, I think of them as being like soundtracks of our time and soundtracks of what's going on right in this moment. It feels very connecting, and it feels like I'm seen, and like there's an artist that has a platform that's kind of speaking and saying the same things that are frustrating you on a really personal level. About our world, and I think that music like this has the power to say something and make a difference. So I love that the 1975 uses their platform to talk about some of these issues, and part of the reason why I love them so freaking much. I should also add one more thing. Sometimes when I do try to write a song that's like political or says something meaningful, it always comes out cheesy. And so the 1975 does it the right way. And I can't quite put my finger on why it's not cheesy when they do it. I think maybe that the lyrics are just very matter of fact, and they just like straight up tell it how it is without trying to like be fluffy or anything like that. So I think maybe that's why. If you have any thoughts on how they're able to do that without it sounding cheesy, let me know. But I'm just obsessed. I'm so obsessed. Another thing that I love about not only the 1975, a lot of artists are kind of playing with this, but they do not have a solid song structure here with like a repeating chorus or hook. This song really is exactly what it needs to be. And so the first chorus is only 2 lines and it's about time, this is what it looks like. The second chorus is a variation on that. It's very different. We still have the same line and it's about time, but it's very like, it's pans kind of all over. It's not like one vocalist singing in the front. And I really like that. It's very creative. It really makes like a song like this, in my opinion, like a work of art instead of just a song. And so I love seeing artists kind of play with these song structures and realize that it doesn't have to be so cut and dry. So first of all, the line, "I'm sorry if you're living and you're 17, like, oh my gosh, I love when like one line says so much in one line. And because it's a powerful line and the 1975 knows that, they repeat it like a million times in this post-chorus here. Songwriters a lot of times are scared of repetition. So if you're writing a song, don't be scared of repetition. If there's a really powerful line that you want to stick out, that if you were writing it down, you would bold it, underline, italicize it, really consider if repetition is a great way to kind of highlight and emphasize that point. What a great way to end the song here as we finish up. I can't. Okay, so talk about like mixing genres here. Okay, so we've got like these cinematic, maybe cinematic isn't the right word, but like orchestral strings. Like it literally sounds like they're getting ready to play an orchestra piece. Then all of a sudden the electric guitar comes in. So we've got like this kind of like rock and roll. Then all of a sudden it switches to like a little bit of a jazzy vibe, like in one phrase. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like the 1975, they don't give any fucks. None. And I'm here for it. Damn, ending on a single flute there. The 1975 is one of the most creative bands. I love it. I love it. This album is gonna change my life. All right, let's keep rolling. Up next is Happiness. Talk about mixing genres. We got a little funk going on. Love it. Awesome. So right here we have a 45-second instrumental introduction. I think that takes guts, only because in like today's day and age, a lot of times, like if you don't start with something super catchy right at the beginning of the song, people switch it. And I think about that a lot when I write music. And I'm kind of in the mindset that like sometimes the song calls for a long introduction to kind of like help set the mood. And for me, if people like skip the song because they don't want to wait, then like they're lost. I'm not going to change my writing style or not do what's best for the song for that. But I do think a lot of people when they're writing music are like, no, we have to do like a super catchy intro to get people hooked right away so they don't scroll. And you know what? 1975, they don't care. I love it. I love the dancey vibe of this. I think part of the reason we get that dancey vibe is we got like the electric guitars going like bam, 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 bam at the top. And then the chord progression changes a little bit on a syncopation. So it's like dun, 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 dun. Anytime you throw in a little bit of syncopation, it always makes it feel more dancey. But I love it. All right, let's keep going. Awesome. So productive repetition. We got my, oh, and then it rotates between that line and mind, my mind, mind, my mind, you. So really cool little thing that they chose to do here. Awesome. So the lyrics there, I love the line, her body's like a modern art. We love metaphors and similes. They really add a lot of really beautiful color to our lyrics. And again, I just want to mention productive repetition because there's an infinite number of ways to do it. And here Maddie has, in the lines 3 and 4, I'm going to stop messing it up, feel like I'm messing it up. So that's repetition. And then in the last 2 times, I'm never going to love again. I'm never going to love again. So when we think about repetition, it doesn't have to follow like a strict pattern. You can literally throw it wherever your happy little heart desires. Productive repetition in the chorus. I love the call and response here. You know, I don't think I've ever written a song that has call and response in it. I'm going to challenge myself to write a song that has a little call and response. This is done really cool here. Yes to the sax! Nice! So we ended the first song with a flute and the second song with a sax. We're all woodwind up in here and I love it. All right, we are moving right along here. Up next is Looking for Somebody to Love. Super cool way to start the song. I love the synth there. It kind of reminds me of that Halsey song that's like, don't call me by my name. Anyway, let's keep going. Is it just me? I'm getting mad 80s vibes right now. Yes! Again, productive repetition in the chorus. It's the one-line chorus, looking for somebody to love. I have tried that in some of my own songs, and I love it. It's so great. You have a one-line chorus, and your audience is singing along by the time the song ends, the first time they ever hear the song. So remember to keep it simple for your audience. Also, something I have never done in a song is on the word looking, it's not looking, it's looking. I've never done that with like lyrics in my own song. I might have to give it a try. Okay, wow. So earlier when I was like, how do you write songs that are meaningful and say something about a commentary on life without making it cheesy? And they nailed that here. It's actually, this song kind of gives me like chills a little bit because if you read the lyrics, it's clearly about, you know, those like incel people that like shoot up places because they can't get a woman and they just go into a grocery store and just shoot a bunch of people. At least it seems to me that that's what this song is about. And it's so crazy because you have like these really dark, heavy lyrics. I mean, you're talking about a really serious topic, about something that is so personal and terrifying about being an American right now. And it's over these like 80s dance feel. I feel like the disconnect between the vibe of the song and the lyrics is also like a commentary on life. Like, do you remember in when Childish Gambino did This Is America, and like he's doing these like crazy dance moves, This Is America, when like he just shot a bunch of nuns in the earlier scene, and it kind of to me feels like, oh, everyone's just dancing and partying while all this like really heavy stuff is going on, and I really felt that come through in this song. This song is brilliant. I would not be able to recreate this if I tried a million times. I think that Maddie Healy is just an absolutely phenomenal writer. And even to like come up with the idea of writing this song from the perspective of the shooter who's looking for somebody to love, so then like kills everybody, is a really interesting spin and take on it. So wow, absolutely brilliant. All right, anyway, let's keep rolling along. Up next, we've got Part of the Band.
She was part of the Air Force, I was part of the band. My, cancellation.
Awesome. So I am loving the instrumentation here. It's clear that for the 1975, no instruments are off limits. They'll do whatever they want, use whatever instrument they want, and it really creates like these unique colors and textures to their song. So especially here, we've got some electronic sounds going on with like the classic string sound, and so even that blend in and of itself is really cool. And we've heard a ton of instruments on the other songs already. So I just love that like They do whatever they want, which is like true artistry, right? That's what we all strive, is to just like create whatever the hell we want. And the 1975 does that so well, and part of the reason why I'm so obsessed with them. Awesome. So there's two things I want to comment on in this verse. First, we've got the productive repetition of the my line, which, by the way, also happens at the end of verse 1. So at the end of verse 1, it's my cancellations. And then twice in verse 2, we've got my imagination. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I love Maddie's use of internal rhymes here. So a lot of times when we think of rhyme patterns, we only think of rhyming the last word of the phrase, but you can rhyme inside the phrase. And actually, if you want to be like crazy, you can go Eminem style and rhyme like entire sentences with each other. But here we've got so many cringes and heroin binges. I was coming off the hinges, living on the fringes. So having these internal rhymes in the phrases is a really, really cool way to spice up your lyrics.
Enough about me now.
All right, so what a fabulous example of contrast between the sections. So we've got these like staccato kind of strings going on up until this moment. And then as we get into the chorus, it changes. Everything becomes a little more legato. I think I heard the entrance of acoustic guitar for the first time. So again, having those contrasts between sections, I think, is one of the things that makes a song really, really stand out. So fantastic job by the 1975 here.
Pages of the nation.
Also, talking about the 1975 doing whatever they want, Matty Healy also says whatever he wants. I mean, he talks about like ejaculations and boners and masturbation. I would never be able to talk about that in a song. And I just love that he doesn't care. He just says whatever he wants to say. And sometimes he does it like a little tongue in cheek. But I just love it. I just love the freedom to be able to do anything you like. Maybe I need to learn and take a page out of the 1975's book and stop being scared to say whatever I want to say, because it's not easy. It is not easy to go on stage and have a line like that and say it. I kind of love at this little instrumental section, we get a call out from the very first song. It kind of resembles some of those sounds that we were hearing in that first song, so I think it's really cool that they kind of brought that. I love little things like that that tie a whole album together, because especially as everyone's like kind of on this train where we're just going to release singles, I think that like having a cohesive album as like its own work of art is really cool, and you can kind of bind it together by interlacing these themes throughout, so super cool. Awesome, so right there again we've got internal rhymes by rhyming inside the phrases. Am I ironically woke, the butt of my joke, or am I just some post-coke average skinny bloke? Super cool thing to do. And I think it's cool that he did it multiple times in this song. Awesome, and a nice little string outro there. Love it. I don't know about you, but I am absolutely loving and obsessed with this album so far. But let's keep going. Number 5, Oh Caroline. Awesome, so I love this introduction here. We've got like these kind of unique percussion sounds to start us off, and then all of a sudden, strict contrast, they stop. We've got like a little synth going on behind the lyrics as they start to come in here. So really, really cool introduction idea. Awesome. So I love the vocal production of all of the 1975 in general, but this chorus is really cool. There's a lot of vocal layers going on. I probably won't even be able to pick them all out with my ear, but I bet you if you opened up the track, there's probably like 10 different vocal layers going on. I just love it. It really creates like this lush, full sound just using your voice as an instrument. So something that I want to keep in mind when I'm writing my own music is just remember to focus on that vocal production, because there's some really, really cool things that you can do. I just want to pause because I love a little like drum fill to get into a section, and I love those drums there. It kind of reminds me of that, what's that like Phil Collins song that's like doo 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 doo. Let's listen to that drum part one more time. I love this so much. Oh, I've tried to find another name 1,000 times, but the only one that rhymes is Oh Caroline. I feel like the 1975 just broke the fourth wall in music. And I haven't really heard that done before. That's really cool. Awesome. That song is a 100% certified bop. I love it so much. This whole album is making me so happy. Okay. Up next is I'm in Love with You. I've already heard the song because it was released as a single, and come on, I'm not gonna like not listen to it. This song is so good. I'm so excited, but I haven't really listened like critically. So let's go on in. Here's I'm in Love with You. Something really cool here. So we just have a classic acoustic guitar, but the way it's like processed or whatever they did with the production, it sounds really unique. So it's a really neat guitar sound that they found here. I love it. It makes the song unique. Awesome. So something that I love that Maddie did here with the phrasing is instead of the first line being heartbeat is coming in so strong, it's heartbeat is coming in so strong. And it's really cool, number one, because that duh kind of feels like a heartbeat. And also because if I had these lyrics and I was setting them to a song, I wouldn't have initially thought to like have a break in between that phrase there. But it sounds really, really cool. And I think it gives the song a little bit of Salt Bae. I'm obsessed with that little background noise that's going on. Really, really cool. It's such a really cool sound to like fill the space, but like keep the energy going. Awesome. Okay, I love this chorus so much. First of all, productive repetition. It's the one-line chorus, I'm in love with you. The second thing I wanted to mention about this is when I am writing lyrics, I always struggle with this, all right? We always try to reinvent the wheel. As lyricists, we always try to say something super unique, something deep, something meaningful, and we forget that sometimes the simple lyrics are what's best. I mean, we have Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World. That's one of the best songs ever written. And the hook is just, what a wonderful world. It's very simple. And here, I also love that in the pre-chorus they're saying it's simple and it goes like this, but the entire hook is I'm in love with you. It's very simple. I'm in love with you. I think a lot of times as songwriters, if we wanted to write a song and we came up that as a hook, we might initially think like, oh, we have to say that another way. But you don't. I think a song like this, really, I get this image of like someone being on the top of a mountain being like, I'm in love with you, and just like shouting it from the rooftops. Very, very simple line here, but so incredibly catchy and so well done. Again, this contrast between the sections, fabulous. A lot of the instruments pulled back so that we kind of just, I think we just got like the bass and drums going here. I can't remember. But anyway, a lot of the instruments dropped out. We got a little bit of a different vibe coming to the verses. That contrast between sections is so crucial to keep people from tuning out, because the difference in the sound is something that kind of like wakes them up and keeps them paying attention. So. Also, I just want to mention, a lot of the songwriters that I work with are scared to keep the same chord progression throughout the whole song, but a lot of popular songs do keep the same chord progression. There's so many ways to create variation between the sections that you don't always have to go first to changing the chords, and this song is a perfect example. The chords are the same in the verses and the chorus, but it still sounds very different because of the production and because of the instrumentation and because of the lyrics and the whole vibe. So don't be scared to repeat the chord progression. A lot of times it helps a song kind of flow too, and makes it catchy for the listener because they kind of like know what to expect from like the chord perspective. So yeah, don't be scared to repeat those chord progressions. Popular songs do it all the time and they sound good. Awesome. So we do have a different chord progression for this bridge here, which is really common to kind of switch it up since the bridge usually introduces a new element to the song or highlights a key point in the song, which I think is exactly what's happening in this bridge. But yeah, super cool. Let's keep going. I'm in love with you. Awesome. awesome. I love the outro here. They're kind of jamming, rocking out for a little bit. I'm always scared of long outros for my own songs. I don't know why. I got a lot of good ideas for music from this album, but I gotta consider the jamming out outro. Just have a long outro, have a little jam section going. A really cool way to keep the vibe going for just a little bit longer before the song wraps up. All right, we're moving on. We're in the second half of this album now. It's flying by. Up next is All I Need to Hear. I love this like really roomy piano sound vibe that they're going on. Obsessed already before the vocals even come in.
Get out my record.
I also want to note that the 1975 does this a lot. We have a lot of vocal dubbing going on, and it's here too. I think it's literally on every single song most of the time, but I love it. It just creates such a really, really cool vocal sound. And I always think the thing with dubs too is like every time artists dub themselves, I feel like each artist, it always sounds different. Like because Billie Eilish has a very airy voice, I feel like when she does dubs, it's like very airy and lush. When Ariana Grande does dubs, her voice is like so perfectly the same every time that even has its own sound. Like you almost don't even realize it's dubbed, but it does kind of like make it sound a little thicker. And yeah, every single artist, when they dub, it's like very unique to them. And so I think that that's kind of why like Maddie Healy's vocals sound really unique dubbed, even though everyone dubs all the time. I don't know, maybe it's also the way that it's produced, but I love their vocal sound.
People are talking. Tell me, love me. That's all I need to hear.
I love it. Like what a classic chord progression we got for the chorus. I love it. And again, talking about like simple, honest lyrics. So tell me you love me, because that's all I need to hear. It doesn't have to be like deep all the time, you know?
In my kitchen, so many friends
So I really love here on this lyric, with so many friends I don't want to meet. I don't know the thought process behind this, but I think sometimes if you need to like add an extra syllable or whatnot for it to fit, you can always like throw in that little trick to make it work. So yeah, if you had this song and it was just with so many friends I don't want to meet, it wouldn't sound as good as with so many friends I don't want to meet. So just a cool little thing to sprinkle in if you ever feel like you need to add a syllable somewhere in your lyrics.
I don't need music. I enjoy so much more.
They're killing me. Okay, so I love, they put a giant spotlight on this last line, so much more. And they did that by pulling back all the instruments right there and kind of taking the vocals down. So much more, like it's so soft there. I love it. Also, this is a Pat Pattison thing. Pat Pattison is one of my favorite like lyric educators. He works for Berkeley, has a great book called Writing Better Lyrics, and he says that if you want to create a feeling of instability in your songs, consider doing an odd number of lines, especially 3 lines. And so this bridge is 3 lines here, and when you have so much more as this 3rd line, you're kind of expecting there to be a 4th line, because most of the time we hear music in sets of 4, and so yeah, we don't get a 4th line. We only get that 3rd line so much more. So it really amplifies that spotlight. It leaves us feeling, wanting something more. And it seems here that that's exactly the vibe that they're trying to go for. They want to leave you feeling wanting, because we're waiting for something to be said. So such a fabulous idea to have some instability there by only doing the 3-line bridge. Ooh. I love this song so much. This is definitely one of my favorites. One other thing is that the vibe of this song, it's in 6/8, so you got like the 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. It's a really, really cool feel, and I think it's just perfect for the song. I really love that one. I'm so sad that we're like in the home stretch here. But number 8, we've got Wintering. Here we go.
It just comes straight in. Just be like, she was.
Awesome, I love it. Another like breaking the 4th wall thing. And we actually had that in the last song too, when he's like, George, hit the hi-hats now or whatever. So I think it's cool. I like when artists kind of do that.
She just want a court case. skill, yeah, it's pretty great.
Awesome. So here's another example of an internal rhyme where Maddie is not rhyming on the end of the sentence. He's rhyming right in the beginning. He's called Bill and he plays with words. Life's a skill. Yeah, he's pretty great. So the rhyme is in the middle. Really cool trick to do.
Yeah, she's gone and she
I think it's really cool, like hearing all these different names in the song. It's giving me like Billy Joel vibes. I have literally never put a name in a song ever. I don't know, I've always felt like weird about like making up names, and I'm like, what if those people exist? But I think I have to get over that because it sounds really cool. Anyway, let's keep going.
said, Alex is a sculptor. 64 years old.
I love this so much. I feel like Maddie always is like a little funny in his lyrics. Like he throws in a little bit of comedy, which I think is really cool. And so I love this bridge. Now, Mom's not a fan of that line about her back. She said it makes her sound frumpy and old. I said, woman, you are 64 years old. Hilarious. Awesome! So I haven't heard a Christmas song like this in a really long time. It's super unique. It's very 1975. It's not like merry and bright. It's just about Christmas and coming home for the holidays. And I really, really like the way that they did a Christmas song. I don't know. All right, up next, number 9 is Human 2. I love the use of the muffled voices for the introduction. That was really cool.
Looking through you. So tell me you're a human.
Awesome. So this is an example of a chorus that pulls back in energy. A lot of times, 9 times out of 10, the chorus usually has the most energy of the song. So if you're like looking at the energy on a song, verse is down here and then the chorus is up here. This is flipped. I'm hearing artists do that more often. I've never written a song like this before, so I guess I'm gonna have to try this too. But I love it. It's almost like you're chugging along, you're moving along in the song, and then when you pull back, it creates this feeling of just like standstill, like you're stopped just to observe this moment. And it's very powerful, especially because the lyrics here are, don't you know that I'm a human too? You know that you're a human too, and darling, that's what humans do, so tell me you're a human. Like, it really just puts a giant spotlight on this moment and makes it seem like the world has stopped for this one chorus right here. So I absolutely, absolutely love it.
Sorry about the bones, I've always been.
I also want to comment that I love the sound of the drums here. Like, it kind of sounds like they're far away a little bit. Like you're getting more reverb than like the actual drum. And I really like that. I don't really do a lot of production myself, so sometimes I overlook cool things like that, but I think as a songwriter it is important to pay attention to these things because that way we can communicate it with our producers and like give them some ideas for what vibe we're trying to go with for our songs.
I'm a human. I'm a human.
I love how they varied this chorus from the other chorus by kind of throwing in like these muffled voices in the background. I feel like the biggest mistake you could ever do as a songwriter is copy and paste the sections because you always want some type of variation throughout your song, even if the lyrics and the chords are exactly the same, because if we want your listener to put the song on repeat it and hear it a few times, if it's exactly the same, like they're gonna get bored of it faster. So throwing in some type of variation I think is really, really important to keep your listener interested. Awesome. And I love how in the outro here they had the chorus, but they had some other instruments underneath, so it wasn't so, pulled back and standstill like it was for the other choruses. So really, really cool. I love that one too. I love every song so far that we've listened to, but I knew I was gonna like it. All right, number 10 out of 11. Here's About You. By the way, I love the dun 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 dun. Anytime that I hear that done in a piece of music, I always feel like it builds anticipation because it's like dun 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 dun. It's almost like the clicking going up like on a roller coaster, like something's gonna happen, but you don't know what, so you're just like waiting like dun 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 dun. So a great way to build some excitement and energy. Awesome. So the chord progression that they're using here is 1-5-6-4. This chord progression is one of the most common, most popular chord progressions that we hear in contemporary music. But the trick is that if you use this chord progression, you have to make it sound unique and new. And I think that that's exactly what they're doing here in this song. Just through the instrumentation, I feel like all the instruments sound very free to me. They're kind of like doing their own thing, but they all come together so beautifully, and I feel like that's really difficult to pull off. So yeah, I just really love seeing this example of that super, super classic chord progression being used in a way where it sounds new and fresh to our ears. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so this chorus here, I love the repetition of the line, "Do you think I have forgotten?" which is 3 times. The last line, the 4th line, "About you" is different. That's the title of the song, because you start setting up a pattern. So, "Do you think I've forgotten? Do you think I've forgotten? Do you think I've forgotten?" You would assume that the last line would be, "Do you think I have forgotten?" So we've established this pattern, but instead Maddie breaks the pattern by saying "about you." Anytime you establish a pattern and then break it, that creates a point of interest for your listener and kind of puts a little spotlight on it. So that's exactly what's happening here. I think part of the reason why this chorus just stands out to me as being really good. So I am obsessed with these background vocals here. So these background vocals are saying something different than the lyrics. They're saying "don't let go" and repeating that. And I think that's really cool. A lot of times when I do background vocals, I forget that you can say whatever you want in the background vocals, and it doesn't have to be necessarily like repeating the vocals. By saying "don't let go," it's giving us a little something extra to the song, and it wouldn't be the same without it. So definitely, definitely love these background vocals here. So another reason why I love this chorus so much is that the vocals are very simple and they're soft. They're not like belted or like, ah! They're very soft, and I think that that sits really nicely because the background instrumentals are chaotic. There's a lot of stuff going on. It sounds really good and they're like far enough back where it doesn't sound chaotic, but there's a lot of stuff going on. And so these soft vocals at the front are just like the perfect way to tie this whole thing together. So I absolutely love it. I also love the repetition of that "don't let go" background vocals. Ugh. Awesome, and we end with our beautiful saxophones kind of rocking out and jamming with each other there. We have another kind of like long instrumental outro. I absolutely love it. Keep the vibe going a little bit longer before the song ends. But I can't believe it. We only have 1 song left. Before we get that, if you're still watching, mwah, I love you so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you had fun listening to the 1975 with me. And if you could do me a huge favor and like and subscribe, it means so much to me. It really helps me grow my channel, and I am so grateful to you. And also, come say hi to me on Instagram, DM me, let me know you came from YouTube, and we could be best friends forever. But with that said, we've got 1 song left. This very last song, number 11, is "When We Are Together." Awesome, so the chords that are being used here are 1-4-5. So the most common chords that we ever hear in contemporary music are 1-4-5-6. Those are the ones that are kind of everywhere. Those are the chords that sound really good to our ears, and most music uses some combination of those for their chord progressions. This song is no different. This song, so far the chords that we're hearing are 1, 4, and 5. They're in a really cool order. I haven't quite heard them this way before. So yeah, just another idea to kind of like play with your chord progressions. There's a lot you can do with just a few chords.
Searching New York, Central Park is SeaWorld for trees.
I love that line so much. Central Park is SeaWorld for trees.
I sweater, it's when we are together.
So another cool example of using internal rhymes. It's not in every single line in this chorus, but it's sweater, weather, better, and together. So sometimes they're at the end, sometimes they're in the middle, and sometimes they're both.
It's when we are together. Truth is that our egos.
Awesome. So a great way that we were able to get contrast in this bridge here is by stopping the percussion and stopping the drums. So again, really there's an infinite number of ways you can get contrast and variation between your sections, but pulling back some instruments is a really easy way to do that.
Gaslighting, you know.
Awesome! This album was fabulous, fabulous. I am just obsessed. Another great piece of work by the 1975. They are just amazing, amazing, amazing. But anyway, that's all I got for you. Happy songwriting. Remember to trust yourself, be yourself, love yourself. You got this. Mwah! I love you all. See you guys next time.